Yes, people, reality-based diets, double drop Monday. I don't know if I'm gonna do too much this week in terms of content-wise. Like I've got quite a bit of music to go and get on with. I've recently dropped a project on Bandcamp. It's a Bandcamp exclusive. Axel Holy and Bailey's Brown, XL for Dummies, right? Is kind of maybe it's a prelude or maybe it's an outro topic to my project last year, Magic's Real, but I'm super proud of it because I kind of tapped into some old energy that '06 Bailey's kind of 90 to 95 BPM boom bap beats. It's heavy breaks and just slapping people around, lyrically. But the reality is, it's discussing concepts that really and truly I discuss on this platform, which is, realistically speaking, yes, the presence of, the existence of God, our connection to Him, but more importantly, the discovery of the God within via finding duality within self. Now, within duality of self, you have to accept the concept that never mind you, but nobody on this green earth is all good or is all bad, right? Without ever being able to grasp that concept, you're never going to understand what duality really means and what it is to be a dual being. And it is simply put that, for the most part, within scripture as well, people are quick to acknowledge the existence of the devil and demons and all of these other things, right? But they're not really able to grasp the concept that, for the most part, heaven and hell is a mind state. That is why duality is so important. They often say that to be careful of what you speak out loud because, your words have power, your words have meaning, and you often speak things into existence, right? But the same goes for what you consume into your mind. Obviously your body anyway, with what you drink, what you eat, but more so the type of information you consume, the type of entertainment that you consume, the type of conversations that you entertain with the type of people that you allow in your energetic circumference. Now, within this concept really does come the knowledge of duality, i.e., that heaven and hell is a mind state. You can be born incredibly rich, but if you are surrounded by negativity your whole life, often there could be a part of you that doesn't even know it's negativity. That's one thing, and maybe you won't actually realize that you are 9 times out of 10 gonna be considered to be demonic by people that don't think the way you do, right? Like down to like a colonizer mindset. If everybody that you've ever grown with has the same mindset, it's only until you go around people that do not have that mindset that you'll begin to understand that is how you are viewed by everyone who does not think like you. And the same goes for even growing up within that that framework and not agreeing with it at all. In fact, it clashes with your disposition. You could often find people who are very rich and very well off are very depressed, right? Sometimes that is the way that people actually are because they understand everything that goes on around them from a soul level. Now, the same can be said for someone who grows up very poor. They could grow up very poor and everyone around them be very poor, but somehow still full of love. Understanding the concept and the true meaning of family and love. A lot of people believe they do, and you often find that they're not the type of people that can ever really be relied on because their concepts are the only concepts they really understand. So once people operate outside of that framework, they're unable to love, right? It's often the people who have the least in this physical world, this materialistic world, that understand love on the most base level, which is the most important level. Now, in the UK, it's very, very, very few people that are gonna have the least, right? And when I say that, I don't mean people don't grow up poor here, because they do. But because it is here, and the stat quo is not poorness, it is capitalism, it is monetary gain, regardless of whether you grow up, you know, very much outside the frameworks of impoverished households or criminality and all the rest of it. Even people that do know full well that their main goal is to get money because they want material things, because they'll often prioritize the material over the comfort. Now, within today's society, I'm not saying this like to point fingers, I'm literally just saying there's a lot of people that have no idea that their mind state is what keeps them trapped in hell. And it's not to say you should be happy with having nothing, or you should be happy with the bare minimum. I say the opposite, to be honest. But what I do also say is you shouldn't allow circumstance to guide your mind state or your mental state. When I say allow, I mean indulging in activities that make your mental state worse by lowering your mind state. And this is where the concept of heaven and hell being a place in your mind comes from. You allow your mind state to be lowered to a place of low vibration when your being, your very being, is in low vibration. You're not welcoming in prosperity, you're not welcoming in abundance. To be full of hate is to be full of weakness, right? To be full of love is to be full of strength. This is something that I've had to really get to grips with, especially this year. And also get to grips with the simple fact that in order to be full of love, I do not have to show it. In order to be full of love, I do not have to show it. I can hold it back. I can withhold it. I can put condition on my love. I can put condition on how, where, and why I choose to show it. And so can you. There's no point in taking a journey of enlightenment. There's no point in taking a journey of spiritual faith if you're allowing people that do not want the same things as you, that do not want to take that same journey, to be involved or around you during said journey. And unlike a lot of people that believe that you would do this because you think you're better than them, it's really not that. Like in this life, you're going to expend a lot more energy trying to convince people of something that they cannot tangibly touch, feel, or see than you will if they're actually experiencing it. That's why you'll find that a lot of people often find God in their own time, in their own way, in their own journey, their own pathway. Some people find it for real. Some people find it as some sort of stunt, right? The reality is, I've never really been someone to take a decision lightly. I'd rather be a man that stands by his actual words. A lot of people don't really stand for anything. They'll have you believe they do, and it's evident by how easily they switch up. They think that's duality. They think split personalities is duality when it isn't. Self-awareness to know that even in choosing God, even in choosing a righteous path, even in knowing self enough to know that I am God's child, I am intrinsically linked to the divine, the universe, doesn't mean I'm flawless. Doesn't mean I am incapable of sin. It means I am a human being. I am a creation of God. But I acknowledge the presence of the Creator. I acknowledge my own mortality. But I also acknowledge my own infinite capability for greatness, because I was created by the Creator of all, the Most High, right? And in understanding duality, you understand that there's a lot of people that say that their argument for there being no God is if there is a God, why is there famines? Why is there hurricanes? Why is there wars and all the rest of it? Right? With war, obviously that's a creation of man, and they still say like, you know, why did God let it happen? Why is there floods? Why is there this, that, and the other? And the answer that no one really wants to hear is that without darkness there is no light. I.e. that God is everything. He is not all good, because without the balance of the darkness, how could there be light? And people think that Lucifer is the darkness, but he is not. He is the caretaker of hell, and that is it. The creator of all is the creator of Lucifer and all the rest of it, the angels and the demons, all of them. I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason, but sometimes There is no real reason that you can fathom in the moment. There is no real reason connected to your thought process, because your thought process is not ready to accept that there is no reason, because there is no control other than the control you have over your own specific life. No one can understand why bad things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people. But everyone wants to understand and wants to roll with, yes, bad things should happen to bad people. But then, why is there so much good things happening to bad people? And why is there hardly any good things happening for good people? A lot of the time, good people are very much happy to sit, wait, and pray and hope. But without action, without taking a stance, without doing, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. Nothing will ever happen. Right? That's factual. You can sit around and be as good as you want, never moving. Because how can you be bad if you're not moving? All you do is you sit and you pray every day. That's good. But there's no guarantee that your circumstances will ever change off of just that. Understanding self and understanding the concept of duality lets you know that there's quite a lot in this life that you really can do to help yourself. It's the people that choose the worst things that they could possibly do to help themselves that are often the real bad people. But here's the unpopular opinion. It's the people that choose to do nothing in situations where they know they can do good things to help people who have done nothing wrong or have bad things going on in their lives, that are just as bad as the people that did all the negative, just as bad as the people that did all the bad. There has to be a balance. There has to be duality in existence. Just because you deem something to be negative doesn't mean that someone who does not come from where you come from, who has not lived your life, who has not had your experiences, will ever think the exact same thing as you. Right? Reality-based diets. Peace.